Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tellman Knudson, your host for the NLP event. I am tremendously proud to be presenting one of my newfound, very close friends, fellow hypnotist, NLP practitioner, Dr. Steve G. Jones. You're going to learn some amazing stuff about neurolinguistic programming today, so prepare yourself. But I want to let you know, if this is one of the first calls you've been on with us, then do not fret. You might be asking yourself, who the heck is Tellman, and why should I listen to him anyway? So just a little bit of background so you're aware. I became a certified hypnotherapist on December 31st of the year 2000, went on over the next 7 years to see thousands upon thousands upon thousands of one-on-one clients using both hypnosis and neurolinguistic programming techniques to help them improve their lives. I then went on to build a multi-million dollar internet-based business where I helped hundreds of thousands of people all around the world to improve their lives using my knowledge, my expertise, and different ideas and concepts that I came up with and taught, and more recently have refocused all of my attention in the last couple of years back on the mind, on hypnosis, on NLP, and that's why the NLP event here is happening. So we've brought together the 24 most cutting-edge, bleeding-edge NLP practitioners in the world that are using NLP to transform lives in a wide variety of ways. And today, I'm just so excited to be bringing, as I said, my good friend, Dr. Steve G. Jones on the call. So in order for you to get full benefit from the interview here today, I want you to do a few things. Number one, tune in to the audience dashboard page. And so you're going to want to go to the NLPevent.com/Steve. That's www.THENLPevent.com/Steve, STEVE. You're in exactly the right place because you're going to see the words audience dashboard. You're going to see the words audience dashboard up the top of the page. And when you do, you are also going to see a picture of the one, of the only, of the absolutely spectacular Dr. Steve G. Jones. You'll see what says the NLP event season 1. And on that page, you can do all sorts of things. But the biggest thing that I'd like you to do right now is go ahead and type in your number one question that you want me to ask Steve about neuro-linguistic programming. Whether you're a seasoned pro or a rank beginner, we want to know what your questions are so that we can customize this interview to you. Steve is going to be giving an amazing thank you gift just for you being on this interview, and he's going to talk more about that here in just a few moments, but we're gonna get into the details on that later. Now, I want to tell you a few things about Steve because he's a very, very interesting guy. First of all, I believe, and I could be wrong on this, but I don't think I am, is that Steve is probably the world's most prolific living hypnotist. This guy has created so many recordings and trainings around hypnosis, around NLP, and other advanced mind and neural trainings. You're going to be absolutely blown away. He's written over 22 books. 22. He has studied at Harvard, and he just recently got his doctorate in education. So Steve is the real deal. He's not just saying stuff. He is trained as an educator. He's an amazing hypnotist and lives, eats, and breathes this stuff every single day. And he's just done such amazing things. And I tell you that my clients love working with Steve. They love his products. They love his programs, everything he does. On top of all of this, Steve is a really cool guy. I got to go out to his place in Vegas just a few weeks ago, and we got to hang out for several days, and Steve and I actually both volunteered to go up on stage at Marshall Silver's stage show, and it was a hoot. It was very, very fun. And so Steve is a super cool guy, very down to earth, and someone that you can learn a lot from. I know that I have. So I highly encourage you to take this time to ask your biggest question on the dashboard page, because if your question gets chosen, you are going to love the answer that Steve gives you. So very, very, very cool stuff. Plus, if you look up Steve at some point on YouTube, you're going to see he just has tons of videos that have hundreds of thousands of views. It's completely ridiculous. Steve's videos are, everyone watches them. People just love his stuff. So we'll be talking about that in just a moment. So welcome, Steve, to the call. It's great to have you here for another teleseminar.
Well, thanks, Tellman. Great to be back.
Awesome. So let's talk a little bit about neurolinguistic programming, right? I mean, NLP is a very interesting subject, but for you, what is it that drew you toward NLP? How did you get sucked into this world?
Well, I was fortunate to study with one of its founders, Richard Bandler, in the 80s, and at that time I was very much into hypnotherapy, and Richard opened my eyes to the world of neurolinguistic programming, and it's been a part of what I do ever since. I've found many ways to integrate it into my hypnotherapy practice. So that's its co-founder, Richard Bandler, got me initially interested in it, and then just following up through the years, I have stayed up to date on it and followed all of the changes. It's as you know, it's a vastly, rapidly, I should say, expanding body of knowledge. Every day it's expanding with new discoveries. So it's just been a wonderful ride. Very cool. Very cool. So, you know, if you're anything like me, I also got the opportunity to train with Bandler. It was much, much more recent. It was just a few years ago. I had originally gotten trained in NLP years prior, and everything I learned about NLP, it fascinates me more. When I learn more about how you can use it to achieve just amazing things personally and to influence other people's lives in incredibly powerful ways. So, for you, for example, what's the most powerful application, right, of NLP that you've ever seen in action? What's just one of the most interesting or powerful applications that you've seen? For me, I think it's been just using anchors. I mean, when I had my office in Beverly Hills in the Roxbury Medical Center, you know, I was 90210, and I was working with a lot of actors and so forth, and consistently they would come to me with challenges, and they were all the same challenge. It was, at any given time, even successful actors are quite often unemployed. They're between gigs. They're wondering when the next job is going to be, if it's going to be the script they want to work with, and so forth. And so, believe it or not, even A-list actors have a lack of confidence. And what I found worked with them, which I also find works with me and just, you know, people in general, is just something very straightforward, which is installing an anchor, just having a resource anchor for confidence. That has pulled me through so many situations. It's caused these actors to get their next $10 million movie, and it's helped just everyday people do what they need to do and continue to move forward.
Awesome. So anchors are a core part of NLP, and we'll be talking about those a little bit later in the call. So for those of you who don't know what anchors are, don't worry. We're going to be going deep on that. So what about some other areas outside of Beverly Hills where you've seen people consistently using NLP to improve their lives? What are three of the areas that you've seen NLP to simply be most effective for transforming lives?
I'd say, you know, having lived in Georgia for a while, a lot of people are interested in losing weight and stopping smoking, and that's because they see hypnotists come through town, and you know they go to the Holiday Inn, and at 1 o'clock it's weight loss, and at 2 o'clock it's stop smoking, and they come through the towns in the South pretty regularly. So people learn that alternative therapies such as NLP and hypnotherapy are useful for stopping smoking and losing weight. So I've found that NLP is very helpful for those two situations, stopping smoking and losing weight, and also for motivation, I've found, because a lot of times people want to just be more motivated at whatever they're doing, sales or just in life in general.
That's right. I mean, NLP for sales is such an incredible application, right? I mean, learning how to pay attention and read the way that someone else is already thinking or processing information, and then communicate back to them in a way that's natural and easy and acceptable to them to begin with. I've met so many folks in marketing, in sales, whether they're one-on-one salespeople, whether they're telemarketers, whether they're direct response copywriters, whether they're internet marketers, or even insurance salesmen, real estate salespeople. They learn a few basic NLP techniques, double, triple, quadruple their sales. It's just such an amazing process.
Oh, absolutely.
So, go ahead.
I was just going to say absolutely. I fully agree with that. It makes a quantum leap of a difference in their lives.
Awesome. So, weight loss, smoking, motivation. One of the big questions that people frequently ask is around the speed of change. How quickly, when you use NLP in order to make a change in your own life, or if you're working with a client to make a change in their lives, how quickly, in your experience, do you see changes happening?
Well, I've seen them happen in just the blink of an eye, literally. I mean, there are techniques in NLP that involve closing your eyes and then opening them, and I've seen literally change happen in the blink of an eye. When we talk about practical, useful change, of course, we're interested in tracking what we call efficacy, which is the effectiveness over time of what's going on. So in NLP, anytime you train in NLP, you learn, of course, to check to make sure that something is actually working. We find with longitudinal studies tracking people a few years out that it's not very effective to just check it in the moment. You have to track it over time as well, because that's when you find out if it's being applied in their everyday lives. So, but I have found remarkably that a lot of times this, in most of the cases, when you get a change in the moment and you check it to make sure it's there still in the moment after the session, and then you follow up with the client 6 months out, a year out, 2 years out, that change is still in effect. It's still a change that has taken hold in their lives and made a tremendous difference.
So as a hypnotist and as an NLP practitioner, and I see a bunch of different questions that people have written in that touch on this issue. You have hypnosis, and then you have NLP, right? So what's the relationship between the two, at least, through your eyes, in your experience? Is one more effective than the other? Can you use them in tandem? Is one an offshoot of another? So just talk a little about the similarities and differences between hypnosis and NLP, if you would.
Sure. Well, hypnosis, we should point out, has been around longer than NLP. NLP is a recent invention. It goes back to the 1970s, and its roots, of course, go back a little bit before that. But hypnosis has been around much longer than that. We have evidence of dentists using hypnosis back in 1850. So we have a lot more information about hypnosis. There are a number of ways to approach the answer to your question. One of them is the approach that I lean more toward, which is that most, if not all, NLP is hypnosis. In other words, if someone really believes firmly in a technique, that technique's going to work, and that's a hypnotic effect that we're seeing. So that's one way to look at it, that all NLP is hypnosis, but not all hypnosis is NLP. There are specific techniques used in NLP that are not part of hypnosis, and hypnosis is just relaxing someone into a relaxed state of mind and then telling them they're going to change. So hypnosis is very straightforward. NLP is far more robust. There are a number of very, very intricate techniques in the world of NLP.
So when you're using NLP and hypnosis together, right, either in recordings or with working with one-on-one clients, do you ever go through and do a hypnosis induction, get people into the relaxed state, and then use an NLP technique or an NLP pattern in order to help make that change occur?
Yes, all the time. In fact, the hypnosis recordings that I've produced, they all have NLP in them. For years I've used NLP ever since I've been producing hypnosis recordings, even back to producing tapes in the 80s. I've always used NLP in conjunction with hypnosis, and I've always used it in conjunction with my clients in one-on-one sessions. And that's right from, the very moment that Richard Bandler enlightened me in the 80s. I thought, aha, this is something that I can really use. I'm glad I studied with him, because you can just put someone into a hypnotic state and then have them go through one of the various NLP techniques, and it just becomes, in my opinion and in my experience, it becomes more powerful.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to do a little survey here. This is a little bit on the fly, a little off script. So I want to do a little survey of the entire audience who is attending the call live. And I'd like you all to go to the audience dashboard page right now so that you can answer a simple question for me. It's a yes or no question. And the way you'll answer it is just by typing the word yes or typing the word no right into the questions box. And so you want to go to the NLPevent.com/Steve. The NLPevent.com/Steve. And the question is, are you a NLP practitioner yet? Have you been trained in NLP ever? I know a lot of people that are trained in NLP end up getting training by many different trainers, many different teachers. I know that I've studied NLP under at least half a dozen trainers and teachers. And I intend to continue, because every single time I learn more, learn deeper and further understanding about how to use the techniques, get a different perspective. But just go to the NLPevent.com/Steve and just type in yes or no. Are you already trained in NLP? When I mean trained, I don't just mean that you read a book, right? I mean that are you certified in NLP from someone somewhere? So I'm very, very curious to see how many yeses we get and how many no's we get on that question. I'm just kind of trying to figure out whether NLP is brand spanking new to most of the people on the line, or whether it's something that everyone's going a little bit deeper on and wants to, really integrate a higher and deeper level into their lives. So if everybody right now who's listening live can just go ahead, go to the NLPevent.com/Steve and type in yes or no. So I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, so it looks like about 80% of the people on the line that have answered so far are not yet NLP practitioners, but I see a few trainers. And I also see, maybe not 80%, looks like about 70% are not trained yet, but about 30% are. So that is really, 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 really good info. Thank you guys for participating with that, so I can get an idea of what y'all are looking for. So, Steve, when we talk about NLP, right, we know that we can use NLP to improve our own lives, and we know that once people prove to themselves that they can transform their own lives, very frequently people want to go on to use NLP to transform the lives of others. As a matter of fact, that's where most NLP practitioners and hypnotists come from, right? They have an amazing transformational personal experience and then decide, wow, could I really make a career out of helping people with this amazing change technology, right? And in your experience, right, training all sorts of people all around the world, both face-to-face and virtually, have you found that more people are interested in using NLP to improve their own lives first, or do most people that work with you come in thinking ahead of time, I definitely want to use NLP as a potential career option to enhance or to improve my own career so I can then turn around and share it with people I come in contact with? Which seems to be more pervasive to you?
Now you're talking about clients who come into my office?
Just people who are interested in learning NLP.
Okay, so you're talking about students then?
Yeah.
Okay. I find that most students are interested in using the technology to help other people.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Well, guys, for those of you who have joined a little bit late, I want to go ahead and repeat what I said earlier. If you're not already on Steve's audience dashboard page, you need to go there right now. In the address box of your web browser, I'd like you to type in the following address, www.thenlpevent.com/Steve. thenlpevent.com/Steve. And you're going to know you're in exactly the right place when you see the words Audience Dashboard, the NLP Event Season 1, and you're going to see a photo of Dr. Steve G. Jones. Now, guys, Steve has an incredible, incredible gift that he put together for you as a thank you for being on the call, and you're absolutely going to love this. So you're going to get, as a free thank you gift, 3 videos. And these 3 videos are all about NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and anchoring. So, Steve, in a sentence or two, could you just tell us a little bit about these NLP anchoring videos and why they're so important?
Sure. You've got a number of things going on in the videos, and they actually teach techniques. You get to learn some things. You get to learn how to install an anchor properly. It's a very straightforward procedure, but you need to do it the right way. I've also got, I believe, an interview is one of the videos, if I'm correct, which goes into a lot of detail about how you can use NLP in sales, and it actually gives specific techniques about that so you can learn in detail how to do that. And then another video demonstration of also installing an anchor. So you get to see it, in action, you get to see me doing it, and you get to learn it the right way.
Awesome. All right. So, guys, I'm going to go over in just a few minutes on how to get your free thank you gift. But while you're on this page, I want you to find the big orange oval special offer button. You might need to scroll down. It's big and it's orange. It's super easy to find. So, again, you're on the NLPevent.com/Steve. The NLPevent.com/Steve, and what I want you to do is scroll down until you get to the big orange special offer button. Click on it. Click on it right now, and you're going to know you're on the right page after you click on that big orange special offer button when you see the words special offer, okay? So it's pretty clear and straightforward. I just want to make sure that you see it, and you're going to understand why here in just a moment. So you're going to know you're on the right page. It's going to say Steve G. Jones Special Offer Package up at the top of that page. So be sure to go ahead and click on that now. Now, on the page, you're going to be able to read all about Steve's incredible special offer that he's put together for you just for listening on the interview today. So, Steve, I know that one of the things that we've done here is put together an absolutely incredible neuro-linguistic programming training package and certification system, right? I would love it if you would tell me a little bit about everything that's involved in the program.
Okay, and my understanding is it's the NLP practitioner program. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, the 2 primary components are the NLP practitioner certification, right? And then the secondary component that's just awesome is the whole conversational hypnosis program that we packaged together, right? So if you could tell us a little bit about both of those, that would be killer.
Okay, yeah. Wow, that's action-packed. You've got the best of everything in that package, and I think that's a great idea. Well, the NLP practitioner program is actually 10 hours of video, so get ready to learn a lot. It's also a 100-page manual that comes with that. So you get to learn the NLP techniques, all of the ones that will get you started. You get to learn all of those. Very powerful information. I've been studying this, as I mentioned, since the 80s, and so I've been teaching it also, and I've refined my teaching techniques over the years. So you get me at my best. 10 hours of video. Also, as Tellman mentioned, the conversational hypnosis package. Now that's about 18 hours of audio. So far we're up to, what is that, 28 hours of information you've got. So also the conversational hypnosis package comes with an ebook, which, if I'm recalling correctly, is about 600 pages. So conversational hypnosis is using NLP and hypnosis in the waking state to help create effective outcomes in your environment, to help you get what you want. You're just going to literally, this is not an academic way to say it, but you're going to be blown away by the information. I've covered everything from A to Z. And so the fact that you've got both of those in there, I think, is great. You've got a highly academic program, which is the NLP practitioner program, which, by the way, is a certification program. So if you want to take the exam at the end, we will certify you, and I will certify you personally. And you've got the conversational hypnosis program, which is more stuff that you can use in your everyday life. It's not designed for office use. It's designed to enhance your everyday life.
Awesome. Now I know that there are all sorts of different types of NLP ebooks that people can buy, and there's NLP videos that people can watch. But you designed, I believe, the first entirely online NLP certification program. One of the really cool things about that is the NLP test that's included at the end of the course. And it's very, very, very cool stuff. I believe that you have 3 times that you can take that in order to pass. Is that true?
Yes. And it's, sometimes people are a little leery about online certifications. I want everyone to rest assured that, I do have a doctorate in education. I studied psychology at the University of Florida and Harvard. I've got a master's in education, specialist in education, and a doctorate in education. And while I was going through all of my academic training at an actual bricks and mortar university, I was finding out that a lot of the Ivy League schools, even the one that I was studying at, Harvard, they were offering online education. So I thought, why not bring that to the world of self-help? So that's why we developed this. And it's very well put together. And so if you go through the test, it's not as if you're going to get the same test every time. You also can't copy off of anyone, because the computer system that we had developed, and this cost us thousands of dollars, is very geared toward delivering a quality product. So it randomizes the questions, it asks different questions of different people to make sure that you're certified. And we do that to protect the public, to make sure that the people we certify are not just going through, clicking buttons and so forth. We actually require you to produce something, to send it to us, to take a test, to actually learn this. So if you really want to be certified with an organization that's going to, stand behind you and has everything together academically, I recommend that. Now, the conversational hypnosis program, that's something that doesn't offer certification. That's something you can just learn, and you can learn some techniques that you can apply in your everyday life.
Awesome. So when you talk about conversational hypnosis, I know we were touching on a little bit earlier how NLP is a form of hypnosis, but it's a very specific form of hypnosis. One of the really great things about NLP is how conversational it can be and how you can use it in literally every conversation that you have. I remember that before I got trained in NLP, I had a really hard time getting along with my family, with my parents, and even my sister. Right? I frequently would get into arguments with them about silly things and so on and so forth. And after I learned NLP and I learned some of these conversational hypnosis techniques, for the first time in my life, I was able to have a great, positive, super fluid conversation with friends and family members and immediately discharge any negative emotions and just kind of deflate any arguments that might start to crop up. So if you have somebody in your life that's part of your life, that it will probably continue to be part of your life for a long time, but maybe you have conversations or even discussions or, even arguments on a regular basis that you would really rather not have, on a personal note alone, NLP will be a game changer for you. And the reason is because it's all about learning things about yourself and your own ability to communicate
so that you can then turn around and more effectively communicate with other people to get the things in life that you want to get while making their lives better in the process. So the conversational hypnosis program is an awesome piece to the whole puzzle. And by the way, guys, when you go on the page, it says 50% off. You're actually getting a high 80% off the entire program. Normally, if you were to buy these things separately, it'd be $874.95. But you guys are going to get the entire program here today for an extremely low $97. So you will not find anything like this anywhere. Absolutely incredible offer, Steve. So very, very excited that you put something so awesome together. That is very, very, very cool of you.
Oh, I'm happy to do that, and I'm glad that conversational hypnosis is being added just to kind of round it out. And I should point out that, this is an actual program. We have people, including myself, behind the scenes that have to evaluate each and every exam. We answer questions and so forth. So a lot of the money that you're paying just goes toward enhancing you and enhancing the learning environment. We have a robust learning environment online that you'll have access to. You will be able to ask questions of fellow practitioners. You will be able to see other students' work. So this is an actual full, robust learning program that you'll have access to. It's not just something that you download and you do it and that's it. You are getting into an educational process. You're part of an educational system. You can be as involved or as not involved as you want to be in learning NLP. So we will meet you every step of the way. However involved you want to be, we will meet you at that level. If you just want to go through it on your own, we will allow that as well.
Awesome. All right. Very, very cool. Well, we're going to get into some more questions, guys, but keep on looking at that page. Pick up Steve's absolutely incredible package. Get certified and trained in NLP and learn how to use these hypnotic communication skills and techniques in your own life, whether you're looking to become more motivated, whether you're looking to make a career move, where you're really looking to upgrade perhaps your financial well-being, or to simply do something in your life that you enjoy more, or hey, maybe you've seriously been considering becoming a NLP practitioner, so you could use that as a way of transforming lives around you and making money in the process. I'm not quite sure what you're looking for, but what I am sure of is that NLP has changed my life and the lives of every single person who's going to be speaking in the NLP event series, as well as thousands upon thousands upon thousands of our attendees. So it's very, very, very cool stuff. As we get rolling out, these questions just keep pouring in. I'm having a hard time keeping track of them all. So, very, very, very good stuff. All right, guys. So we're gonna keep moving here. So, again, for anybody who joined a little bit late, the NLPevent.com/Steve. Go there now. www.thenlpevent.com/Steve. thenlpevent.com/Steve. Go there and scroll down for the big orange special offer button. Click on that, and you will see Steve's incredible special offer that he's put together for you. You're absolutely going to love it. You're going to be able to get literally trained and certified in NLP entirely online. So you're going to really enjoy the process. So we want to go into a little bit more of the meat of NLP now, Steve. So the first thing I want to talk about are anchors and triggers. And I know we touched on it a little bit already, but can you explain exactly what anchors and triggers are in detail, and how and why they're so effective?
Sure, and just to sum up some glossary definitions up front, an anchor is something you install, and a trigger is firing off of that anchor. In the world of NLP, sometimes we use those terms interchangeably. So for this discussion, I'll be talking about anchors as something you install and triggers as a way to fire that anchor off. And it's very straightforward. Let's say, for example, we talked about motivation. If you want to become a more motivated person, you simply think of, and you can do this right now if you're not operating a motor vehicle, you just think of a time that you were motivated. Something was going on and it really had you pumped up. You were motivated about it. You were excited about it. Now, it doesn't have to be anything super spectacular, but just something that got your blood pumping, something that you got excited about to some degree. And what you want to do is crank that up to a level 10. So whatever that is in your mind, that memory, just crank that up even more until it's a level 10 on a scale of 1 to 10. Also, think about the sights and the sounds and the smells and the tastes of that memory, if there are any involved in that, how your clothes felt on you, how the temperature felt at the moment. These are all going to be helpful. So think about all those things right now. And as you do think about that, really crank those up to a level 10. What did it sound like? What did it feel like? Was there anything you were eating? Were there any smells in the area? All of these things are important for sensory input. And so you're thinking about a time that you felt good, that you felt motivated, and cranking that up. And what I'd like you to do now is just make the OK sign with your right hand and say the word motivated. And then just let that OK sign go and relax. And now what we've done, now you can do this later on, now that you know the technology. You can do it later on more slowly and more thoroughly. But what we've done is we've installed an anchor for motivation. And it's based on Pavlovian research. You know, Pavlov was the guy whose parents wanted him to be a priest, but he decided to be a research psychologist instead. And he worked with dogs. Remember, he let them smell meat powder, and he'd ring a bell, and eventually he just rang a bell and they'd start to salivate. So we've created an association just like Pavlov did. In this case, we've created an association between making the OK sign and saying the word motivated and thinking about and feeling those feelings of motivation. So you can bring that back into the moment anytime. So we've installed an anchor by doing that, and you can trigger that by just making the OK sign and saying the word motivated when you need that in the future.
Awesome. Awesome. So you just answered one of the questions that one of our listeners wrote in, and this was Candy writing in from Salt Lake City. She said, "Can I program myself with anchors, or do I need someone else to do it?" And so, I mean, you just walked people directly through how to program yourself with an anchor.
Absolutely. And you can do that for anything, Candy. You can do, let's say, for example, you want an anchor for creativity and confidence, and you want all of those anchors because you're going to need all of those things at any given time. Well, you made the OK sign with your right hand, but that's touching the tip of your right index finger to the tip of your right thumb. You also have the middle finger that you can touch to the tip of your thumb, the ring finger, and the pinky finger. So let's say, for example, the middle finger can be confidence, the ring finger can be creativity, and the pinky finger can be anything else you want to anchor. And you go through the same process, and you make it very topic specific. So I had you think of a time when you're motivated. Well, for creativity, just think of a time when you're creative. You can also stack anchors. You can go back through them if you think of another time when you were motivated and reinstall that with the motivation finger. So this is how you can use it on your own.
Awesome. Awesome. Very, very good stuff. So, we're getting a lot of related questions to this Steve, and interestingly, I was kind of surprised by this. We've had quite a few questions about NLP and falling in love, and I was curious if you've ever experienced this, or if you've ever come across this before. The basic question is, can I use NLP to make someone fall in love with me who wasn't interested before? We had at least a dozen people ask that question in some way, shape, or form in the past few minutes. And I had to throw it in there.
Very interesting. Well, luckily, you've thrown into the package that you're going to be getting the conversational hypnosis program, which I believe has 2 full hours of answering that question in great detail and showing you how to do it. It also has a preparatory recording for getting you more confident to do that. So a lot of NLP and a lot of this falling in love concept has to do with your own confidence, who you are and how you present yourself. How you look at yourself is how the world will look at you. If you respect yourself, the world respects you. If you don't respect yourself, then nobody will respect you. So it's the same thing that we transfer into a dating world. And so that's what I start with in the conversational hypnosis program, building confidence. It all starts with you, but yes, there are specific techniques you can use. One of them, just to throw it out there, would be anchoring in a different way. So let's say, for example, that you're talking with someone. You want them to feel that you have the attribute of attractiveness. And that's a very good one to have if you're in a dating situation. A lot of how it will progress has to do with how attracted they are to you on one level or another. And so what we find is that if we touch our solar plexus, or within a 1 foot radius, or for those overseas people, a third of a meter radius from our solar plexus, if we touch that area while we're saying a key word, such as attractive, for example, that person who we're talking to who sees that is going to subconsciously associate attractiveness with us. So the way this works in our everyday lives, let's say we're talking to someone, we want them to feel that we are attractive. We simply put together a sentence talking about someone else, interestingly enough. So, Tellman is such an attractive guy. And so I'm talking about Tellman. I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about Tellman. But while I said the word attractive, I have touched my solar plexus. Now, if I'm wearing a tie, I can adjust my tie during that time. If I have a necklace, I can adjust my necklace during that time. So even though I'm talking about Tellman or anyone else other than me, when I say the word attractive, I'm touching that area. So subconsciously, just like with Pavlov's dogs, they're creating an association between myself, not Tellman, but myself and attractiveness, because I have touched that area while I'm saying the word attractive. And you can use this for anything. The word motivated, if you want them to feel you're motivated. The word confident, if you want them to feel you're confident. In other words, or to recap, you're just touching that area around your solar plexus when you're saying that word.
Awesome. Great overview of anchors and triggers, right? So very frequently, people will use physical touch, touching a particular part of the body in order to set that anchor. But do you have to use touch? Could you set an anchor using a word or a smell or something you see?
Oh, absolutely. You can definitely do that. You can set an anchor using any number of things.
Awesome. All right. So that's going to actually tie in very nicely when we talk about representational systems here in a few minutes, and the different types of senses and people's different preference for utilizing their senses, right? So that should be really, really interesting. So yeah. Awesome overview of anchors and triggers. And so why don't we go ahead and roll right into representational systems, actually. So when we talk about representational systems, just keep in mind we have lots of non-NLP practitioners and certified NLP practitioners on the line where the NLP is very new to folks, right? So tell us a little bit about representational systems, how they work, and what cool things you can do once you know more about representational systems.
Okay, well, representational systems are just the way that we represent our universe, our everyday experience in our minds. And we have three main ones, which are visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. Those are the three main ways that we interpret what is going on in our everyday lives. So people who are visual relate more to what they see. People who are auditory will relate more to what they hear. People who are kinesthetic relate more to feelings, such as touching and movement and so forth, things that they can physically feel on their bodies, for example. And the best way that I've found to find out which one someone is to have them describe the last movie they saw. If someone who is more visual describes the last movie they saw, they're going to talk about the things that they saw in the movie. Oh yeah, I saw just beautiful cinematography. They went to New Zealand and just the shots of the landscape was just breathtaking. If someone is more auditory, they're going to describe the sounds. Oh wow, when that car exploded, I could just, the Dolby surround sound or whatever they have now, it just really was amazing the way that it was just so crisp and clear. And if someone is more kinesthetic, they're going to describe the action in the movie. What was the character doing? Wow, he ran and he jumped over that chasm just in time before the explosion went off, and then he kept running,
and there was a car chase, so they're going to describe the action that's going on. That's the best way to determine which of these three ways that they primarily relate to their environment. Now, this becomes important, and I'll often ask a client to describe the last movie they saw when they first sit down in my office, because I want to get this from them. And the way you can use this in a therapeutic setting or in your everyday life or even in dating or sales is to start talking their language. So if someone is more visual, you're not going to want to describe whatever you're selling or yourself. You're essentially selling yourself and dating. You're promoting yourself to them. And look at me. You want to use more visual terminology if they're more visual. So talk about things that they can picture in their minds. For example, in dating, I don't know the particular dating approach that someone might take, but they might want to, at a certain point, talk about certain assets they have, and if they talk about the fact that they like to travel, they might want to describe it visually. When I went to Hong Kong, I went there for New Year's, and I could see this going on. I could see the fireworks going on and so forth. So if someone's more auditory, then you want to start talking in terms of what they can hear. So, for example, in a sales presentation, you want to talk about everything about whatever you're selling in terms of sound so they can hear. You also can use terminology such as, I hear what you're saying. That relates to an auditory person. Whereas a visual person, you might want to say something such as, I see your point, or do you see my point? And with a kinesthetic person, of course, you want to describe the action. If you're selling a car, for example, you don't want to talk about how it looks or how it sounds. You want to talk about how it handles on the road and how that steering wheel is going to feel and how you're going to feel behind the wheel.
Absolutely. And so when you really start mastering and learning something, just representational systems alone, you start listening, you start observing, you start paying attention to the types of words and communication patterns that other people are using, and you begin to adjust your own patterns to their type of communication, it's almost like you're speaking their language instead of speaking a foreign language. I mean, Steve, have you ever had one of those situations where you met someone and it was just a real challenge? It was just almost impossible for you to carry on a conversation with this person because you communicate so differently, right? And then maybe you meet someone else and you have instant rapport, instant connection with them because you happen to be thinking about things or looking at life through a similar lens. I mean, when it happens, go ahead.
I said absolutely. I agree with that. It's happened many times.
And it's great when you learn NLP and you learn about how to use representational systems, because the speed at which you can create an emotional bond and connection with someone, whether it's a friend, a business colleague, whether you're trying to sell something to someone, or, hey, maybe you're trying to get a pretty girl to give you their phone number, whatever it is you're going for, then NLP is going to make it easier. So representational systems are almost like a key to someone else's mind. You're literally learning their language very, very quickly. So on that note, so anchors and triggers. So you learn how to set an anchor and fire it off with a trigger to create a new response in your life or a new response in the life of a client or someone you're working with. Use representational systems in order to communicate in someone else's language, whether you're talking about visually, that's, for the V in VAC, V-A-K, auditorily through words, or kinesthetically through feelings, right? But what about rapport? What about mirroring and matching? So talk a little bit about how mirroring and matching works.
Well, mirroring is simply doing what they're doing, but you have to do it like a mirror. So when you look in a mirror, and if everyone has a mirror they can look in right now, if you look in a mirror and you raise your right hand, well, the person in the mirror is raising their left hand. They're not raising their right hand. So when your mirror reflection is doing the opposite of you. So you have to realize that when you're mirroring someone, you want to do the opposite of what they're doing. You want to look like a mirror reflection of them. Now, so that's what mirroring is. You're just doing what they're doing. You're reflecting back to them their experience of themselves and thereby establishing rapport because they see you as being similar to them. You've got to realize that these days, some people have been to sales seminars and they've learned about mirroring. So you've got to realize that sometimes people are looking for it. And if you do it in a very obvious way, they're going to say, oh, it's mirroring me. And so you want to make sure that you build in a little bit of a delay, first of all, and also don't mirror them exactly. So you don't want it to look like you're doing a mime show with them to, mime doing things in the mirror. You want to look like you are doing what they are doing because you need to do that, but you need to do it with a little bit of a delay built in and do it slightly differently. So, for example, if they raise their right hand to scratch behind their head, that is something you may be tempted to just raise your left hand, scratch behind your head right afterwards. But I suggest waiting a couple seconds and doing it in a slightly different way, doing it maybe more slowly or more quickly, just so it doesn't look very obvious. So, and the purpose of this is not to deceive them, and the purpose of the delay is not to deceive them. You are attempting to build rapport, and in a therapeutic setting, it's very important because if you want them to have the benefits of the situation where they come to you and paid you money for help, whether you're coaching or working in hypnosis or NLP or a mainstream therapist, you're offering a service for them that they've paid for. And so having rapport is going to be to their benefit and help them get their money's worth out of it. So you're not attempting to manipulate them just for manipulation's sake. Also, even if we look at that situation in a dating sense, my understanding is you're a good person and you're not attempting to get this person to do anything against their will or anything like that. You're just attempting to get across to them, hey, I'm a good person. Look at me. I'm a wonderful person. You are a wonderful person. We start with that premise, and then you're just trying to convey that, and you're succeeding in that by using these techniques. So let go of the concept of manipulation and really realize that what you're doing is just saving yourself some time and getting to the point more quickly. So that's what mirroring is.
Awesome. Very, very cool. Mirroring is great, and ideally you don't want to be caught mirroring because it can be a little weird. I've seen people at seminars, go out to a coffee shop to do a mirroring matching exercise and end up looking like a total jackass. But the flip side is that if you practice and you do have an embarrassing moment or two in those kind of situations, you become very self-aware, right? And it makes you that much better. So definitely go out and practice this stuff. One of the simplest ways to mirror and match, in my experience, is start matching people's tonality in their voice and to start matching the cadence at which they speak. If they're a very fast talker, then you might want to pick up the speed at which you talk a little bit. If they're a very slow talker, you might want to slow yourself down a little bit. Likewise, if they swear all the time, you might want to incorporate a little bit of swearing or cursing into your conversation. And if they clearly do not swear or do not curse at all ever, then you might want to be a little bit more clean in your language. And what you'll find is people will literally feel that you are more like them. So awesome stuff, Steve. Anchors and triggers, representational systems, rapport, mirroring and matching. I know we're trying to cram a lot of information into this call. It's only an hour-long call, so bear with us. I know we're going through this stuff very, very, very quickly. Guys, right now you are already on the special offer page. If you missed it for some reason, if you came on late, I want you to go to Steve G. Jones special offer page right now. First of all, go to www.thenlpevent.com/Steve, thenlpevent.com/Steve, S-T-E-V-E. Click on the big orange special offer button. So you'll need to scroll down just a little bit, click on the big orange special offer button right now, and that'll take you to the page where you're going to see Steve's absolutely incredible NLP certification program, 10 videos, 18 hours of recorded audio, 4 bonus audios, complete transcription. You're going to absolutely love it. We're also including the conversational hypnosis course, plus 3 ebooks that will give you all the information you need to practice NLP safely and successfully. very, very, very cool stuff. You are absolutely going to love the program, and I'll tell you, whatever it is that you do, whatever type of people you communicate with, whether you want to begin to use NLP in your job, whether you want to use it in your career, whether you want to become a professional NLP practitioner and help people to up their golf game, help people to lose weight, help people to quit smoking, help people to sleep better at night, help people to get over fears and phobias. We haven't even touched on how powerful NLP is for overcoming fears and phobias. You are going to be blown away as you go through this program. It's going to completely and totally open your mind in some ways that you simply have never experienced before. That's what happened to me the first time I got trained in NLP, the second time I got trained in NLP, the third time I got trained in NLP. I learned something more every single time. So be sure to check out all of the amazing stuff. One of the things that we were talking about earlier was how people use NLP to improve their own lives. And you might remember when Steve was talking about that just a few minutes ago, all the different things that you can use NLP for in order to make your life better. But what about using NLP to help other people as well? And you're going to find everything that Steve has to say about using NLP to transform your own life, transform the lives of those around you in his incredible NLP certification program. So go ahead, take a look at Steve's special offer at the incredible discount. Click on the Add to Cart button. The rest is really easy. Fill in the form and click on the Submit Order button. Now, we have a ton of awesome questions in here from listeners, Steve, that we haven't even touched on yet. So if you're ready, I'd like to start firing some at you.
Fire one ready.
Okay, very cool. So, yeah, I'm sorry, guys, if I can't get to your question. I'm going to ask Steve as many of these as I possibly can. So, Steve, I know we were just having a conversation about this one the other day, is what kind of career can you do once you're certified in NLP, or how can you use NLP as a career? And there are so many different opportunities that are open for you. So, Steve, why don't you and I just bounce this one around for a couple of minutes and brainstorm on some of the different ways you can use NLP in different types of career settings?
Sure. Well, first of all, if you're getting certified through my organization, the American Union of Neurolinguistic Programming, you get listed on our highly ranked website. So you're going, and it's by country and by it's divided also further within some countries like the United States. We divide all 50 states. So when someone's looking for someone in your area, you're going to come up. So you're going to immediately establish yourself as the leader in your area. So that's work we do for you. But you can take this anywhere you want. A lot of coaches, for example, use NLP. If they're already coaching, they use NLP also because they find that their clients at a certain point get to a sticking point that they're having difficulty getting past. So they use NLP to bridge that gap. Also, a lot of hypnotherapists, myself included, use NLP. I use it all the time, and I always have ever since I've started in my hypnosis recordings and in my hypnosis practice one-on-one, because it's just very helpful. You can also promote yourself as just an NLP practitioner if you want to do that. People have had careers doing that. So whether you're a coach, hypnotherapist, or an NLP expert, strictly an NLP expert, you can find that people in your area will gravitate toward you. I mean, anytime I've ever put out the word that I'm, in town and doing NLP, it's been very, if anything, we've had to keep people back. We've had to not take people because it's just something that everybody wants. People in sales, people who want to improve their dating lives, people who want to learn to communicate better with people.
Steve, that's a super important example, and I just want to give you guys a little caveat to that, because we had several people that wrote in about, hey, how do I build my business as an NLP practitioner? How do I get more clients, and so on? And there's one surefire way for you to get more clients as an NLP practitioner. If you just want to work with people to help them achieve breakthroughs, then the key is, once you're trained, specialize. Start with a specialty. Now, maybe your specialty is helping people to improve their golf game. which, by the way, NLP is tremendous for, any kind of sports, but specifically sports that are heavy on either mind work or sports that are subtle in their intricacies to achieve higher level performance. In the case of golf, a millimeter shift to the angle of your golf club and bam, it can change the whole game, right? So you can specialize in golf. You can specialize in helping real estate agents be more successful at selling homes. You can specialize, as Steve mentioned, in weight loss. You can specialize in helping people to quit smoking, but lead with that. Focus on you help people to quit smoking. How do you do it? We use a very special cognitive process called neuro-linguistic programming in order to help create new and better habits as well as break old and bad ones. So really focus on what your client, your perfect client, wants, potentially. And so you can end up specializing in more than one thing, of course, but you could specialize in helping people overcome fear of heights. Right? Another person wrote in about the use of NLP via Skype, right, using virtual sessions, and they want to know, Steve, your opinion on, is it feasible, is it viable to help people all around the world using something like video chat and to conduct sessions that way?
Sure. I mean, I know a lady in Northern California who does that. She charges $500 a session. She's booked all the time, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, doing NLP through Skype. There are certain techniques in NLP that you would not be able to do because they involve you having to be one-on-one with a person, but there are many that you can. There's so many that you can that why not? So we're talking about an entire career on Skype, and more people are doing that all the time. And I'm talking about a person, by the way, who's not very good at marketing. She's just, admittedly, she's not good at marketing. She just puts the word out there, which travels, that, hey, I do NLP through Skype. People sign up left and right. She has a little PayPal link on her website, and it's really a no-brainer. Also, talking about marketing this stuff, we cover all that in the program. I don't just leave you hanging. I have a whole section on how to market yourself after you're done. But just to give you a little insight, one of the things you can do is just contact, and you can do this today if you want, just contact a car dealership in your area, wherever you live, and say, hey, I'm an expert in NLP, just to test this, just as if. I'm an expert in NLP. I'd like to come and give a talk to your sales team. Would you pay $200 for that? I guarantee the answer is going to be yes, because these sales teams at car dealerships have regular meetings where they get everyone together and say, hey, we need to sell more cars. If they can bring someone in for only $200 to talk to them, they're going to do that. Not only that, but once you do that, you're going to be able to say, hey, I worked for so-and-so dealership. How about I come to you? Next thing you know, you're touring your whole state, giving these talks and becoming the expert, and then hopefully you'll raise your rates because it's worth a lot more than $200. So I'm talking about a half-hour talk for $200. That's something that you can test today. You can call up the dealership and see if they go for that, and I guarantee you're going to find out that they will. And then once you become certified and confident in the stuff, you can start doing that. That's just one way that you can market yourself. We've got a lot of ways covered in the program, but you've got to take my word for it. Having worked with people and trained people for years, the sky is the limit when it comes to getting people to pay for your services.
It's really funny that you bring up that example, Steve, because back in the day, a buddy of mine who's actually involved in the NLP event, his name's Jim Katsoulis. He's going to be speaking with us, I think next week. Jim and I worked together and we developed an NLP-based selling process called the auto selling system. Auto, and there was a little play on words because it was geared toward car salesmen, and we literally toured all around New England going to car dealerships teaching them our auto selling system until I got tired of driving around. But it was awesome. That stuff absolutely works. Another great example of NLP for sales, right?
Yep.
I've one more question for you from John here from Manchester, and John says, what advice do you give to someone who cannot visualize at all or have very poor visualization skills. For example, where it's difficult enough to try to visualize a single image and quote-unquote impossible to visualize a short movie. If you're working with a client like that, or hey, maybe if you knew someone who's using NLP themselves but had a really tough time visualizing, how would you get around that?
Well, first of all, I appreciate the fact that you put that in quotes when you said impossible, because you and I know that nothing's impossible. It's just that it appears to be impossible in their minds. So putting aside the idea of working on them becoming more visual, which is also a possibility, I would just skip that and say, okay, you don't consider yourself a visual person. That's not going to work as well for you as something else. Let's find out which of the other representational systems, major ones, that you do gravitate toward. And we'll discover if it's auditory or kinesthetic. And again, I'll have them do that by describing the last movie they saw. And sometimes in those cases, I do find out that they actually are visual. Even if they're not seeing things in their minds, they still relate to the things that they see because they do see things. So unless we're dealing with someone without sight, we have to realize that they are seeing things. And sometimes they do think about things in terms of what they did see, whether they realize that or not. So if it's someone who actually is not visual and is not describing that movie in visual terms, I would want to determine whether it's auditory or kinesthetic, and then I would go that route in working with them.
Absolutely. There's a real easy bypass, and it's called the word imagination. So instead of asking them to visualize anything, just to tell them to imagine something. That's it.
There you go.
So, close your eyes, imagine an apple, right?
Right.
Just imagine it.
Yeah, it makes it less clinical.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right. Awesome. All right. Really, really great stuff. All right, guys. So I'm sorry we have literally 107 questions here right now, and I only got to go over a few. I tried to ask all the questions that were asked repeatedly over and over and over again. So great answers, Steve. Very good stuff. So, guys, I want to tell you right now how to get your amazing free thank you gift from Steve. You're going to get 3 anchoring videos. They teach about anchoring in 3 different ways, 3 different perspectives. And the way Steve explains it, you're absolutely going to love it. In order to get your videos, what you need to do is go to the audience dashboard webpage. If for some reason you haven't been there yet, it's located at www.thenlpevent.com/Steve. thenlpevent.com/Steve, S-T-E-V-E. And to get the thank you gift, to get those videos, what I want you to do is click on the big orange special offer button on the page. It's big, it's orange, it's oval. Go there now, scroll down, and look for the box with the red dotted lines that says Steve G. Jones thank you gift. Okay? Steve G. Jones thank you gift. That's what it says. And fill in your name, put in your primary email address, and what I'll do is I'll send you an email with a link to where you can get those videos. It's really easy. Just go ahead and put in your info there. If you don't see the thank you gift, make sure you're on the special offer page first and not the audience dashboard page. If you're on the audience dashboard page, click the big orange special offer button, go to the next page, scroll down, you'll see it. And for anyone that joined the interview late and missed it for some reason, don't worry, because we're going to be posting a replay in just a few minutes, and we'll leave it up to 48 hours. So if you want to share this free 48 replay with a friend, the free 48-hour replay with a friend, send them to this is a different link, guys, so write this down, www.thenlpevent.com/interview. thenlpevent.com/interview, and we will email them with the replay link. Also, if you haven't already done so, now is time to take advantage of Steve's incredible special offer for the NLP certification package, because you really, really are going to love the program. Take advantage of the incredible discount. Click on the Add to Cart button right now. Fill out the order form. Click on the Submit button. Guys, thank you for listening to the interview. Steve, this was awesome as always. It was great having you here. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, Tellman. Thanks for putting this together.
Awesome. And thank you, everyone, for attending. It's great having you all here, and we will talk to you very, very soon. It's time to get certified in NLP. As you're going through the NLP program, you are going to, your brain is going to light up with excitement as you begin going through the program. You're just going to be blown away. So again, Steve, thank you for a great call, and thanks for everyone who attended and wrote in questions and let us know what was going on. Very, very, very cool stuff. And James, to answer your question, there is not an additional fee for the certification exam. There is not a additional fee for the certification exam. So, and we go over all that on that page. So, again, thanks everyone. We'll talk to you soon. This is Tellman Knudson with the NLP event with Dr. Steve G. Jones. Brilliant individual. Awesome stuff. All right, guys. Have a great day. We'll talk to you all soon. Steve, enjoy Las Vegas.
Thank you, Tellman. Bye, everyone.
Great. All right, bye, guys.